Hi everyone, Rachel Prophet here. I'm a white female, my pronouns are she, her. I have dark reddish brown long hair that's down today, and I'm wearing a kind of floral abstract looking print shirt that has orange and blues and grays in it. I'm in my office with my epic sticker wall behind me, and today I'm going to do the Cliff Notes version of using the Power Platform to extend finance and operations apps, part 2, the Common Data Service. And a lot has changed since this original Tech Talk, including the name. So it's no longer actually called the Common Data Service, it's now called the Dataverse. So a couple things that I want you to take away from this Tech Talk and some updates to that information. So the first thing I want to quickly kind of review with you was that comparison that we did in the Tech Talk. We used this slide in a couple different sessions throughout the series, but it's so important. When we think about the Dataverse with your finance and operations apps implementations, there are kind of 3 key things that work to help us integrate with the Dataverse. We've got dual write, virtual entities, and data integrator. And selecting the right technology for your application is going to be important. And I loved this slide because it really, I think, compares and shows you kind of what you can use each one of these technologies for. And I think it's a great quick reference that you can use to help you pick the right technology. Now, we did some great demos in this session as well, so I encourage you to check those out if you haven't already. Now, the second slide that I wanted to call out for you all is the do's and don'ts for dual write. I'm not going to read all of these to you, but a couple things to note, right? Obviously, those API limits on the Dataverse side or the CDS side are really important. But now that we've also introduced throttling to the finance and operations side, you'll want to consider this even for things that are coming back into finance and operations. The other one that I want to point out here and really kind of call out is remembering that we are duplicating data, right? When I use dual write, and making sure that you've got enough capacity in your database is going to be really critical in these situations. We don't recommend that you use dual write if the data is not needed in the Common Data Service. Now, continuing on, the next slide I want to really focus in on is do's and don'ts around the virtual entities. So your virtual entities have come a long way since they were originally released. And at the time of this original Tech Talk, virtual entities were brand new. And about a week or 2 later, we did a Tech Talk that was specific to virtual entities. And we continue to enhance and add more functionality around virtual entities. Virtual entities, I think in a lot of ways, are the air quote way of the future. So I strongly encourage you to use those virtual entities when we have a need to integrate or take advantage of the Power Platform functionality. Coming very soon, it's on our roadmap, is that ability to turn on change tracking for your virtual entities. So that's a feature that you're going to keep a close eye on for in the future. Lastly was that data integrator. So the data integrator, we have a number of templates that are available out of the box to integrate between human resources and finance and operations, between the Dataverse for customer engagement apps and finance and operations. It's really important to note that if you install the order to cash or prospect to cash solution for the data integrator, you can't use dual write for those same processes. So you'll need to decide which solution is best for you. And in most cases, we encourage you to look to dual write as your solution for prospect to cash. If you're using things like field service or the older project service automation, there are still templates available for that. that you can look to use. However, note that you're still going to run into some issues with feature parity between the customer engagement applications and finance and operations. So you'll want to evaluate really closely and figure out what makes the most sense for your business scenarios. Now, we didn't walk through how to install the Dataverse, but one of my number one recommendations, if you have not already installed your Dataverse for your finance and operations, do it, right? You're only going to get benefits from that. I also want to share with you some information about licensing specific to the Power Platform. So I'm here in the docs page now, and I've pulled up the Power Apps and Power Automate licensing frequently asked questions. Now, one of the sections in this article is specific to Dynamics 365. And one of those frequently asked questions, I get asked it all the time, is what are the use rights for using the Power Platform with your Dynamics 365 applications? We give you a high-level answer here in the docs article, but I do strongly encourage you to check out that licensing guide. There's a link right here at the top, and I'm going to go ahead and click on it and open it and show you exactly where you can find those details. If we scroll down, and you can find it in the table of contents as well, but really what I'm looking for is page 6, where it explains what you get for Power Apps. So I'm scrolling down here. So on page 6, there's a table here called Power Apps Use Rights with Dynamics 365 Applications. This table here explains exactly what's included with your Dynamics 365 licensing. Make sure that you read the superscript text down here, because that explains in a little bit more detail kind of what those exceptions are to the rule. And if you scroll a little bit further down and you get to page 13 in this document, there's another table that explains your, it starts here on 13 and crosses over into page 14, your Power Automate use rights that are included with Dynamics 365 licensing. So again, there's a summary here and then the table that explains exactly what's included with Dynamics 365 licensing. So the interesting thing is that you don't find these tables in this detail in the Dynamics 365 licensing guide. You do have to look at this Power Platform licensing guide. So hopefully I'll put the links to this down below in the description so you can get right to these pages. But I encourage you to check this out and get started on your journey today with the Power Platform. There's a lot that you can do that doesn't require any additional licensing costs at all. And all you need to do is deploy that Dataverse and start building your own Power Apps and Power Automate flows. So there you have it. Those are my quick tips for you on part 2 from the using the Power Platform to extend finance and operations apps. It was called Common Data Service. Now it's called Dataverse. Be sure to like, subscribe, put your comments below. If there's something specific you want me to talk about on my next video, be sure to let me know.